A month after I turned 13, I went to Italy as a student ambassador. Mostly we went around sightseeing and meeting people from other cultures, but we didn't always stay in a hotel. Sometimes we would stay with families or other interesting places. When we were in Italy, I don't remember where, but I think it was outside of Florence, we stayed in a Catholic convent. Now this was a nice building. Either the nuns were getting a ton of donations or this play hadn't always been a nunnery. Now, for the 2 nights we would be there, I was in a room with 2 other girls. We had just gotten there and were each sitting on our own beds. The room we had was big, larger than the average studio apartment. It was a beautiful, if simple place, with hardwood floors and brass beds. What I noticed as soon as we came in was there was a balcony that looked out over the garden. The door that led to this balcony was hard wood with long curved handles. I remember touching them, but deciding not to open them because the afternoon air of Italy in July is stifling. The room we were in had neither air conditioning nor a fan, but that was okay. We were just grateful to be out of the sun, which seemed much closer to the earth than it was back home. One of the girls had locked the door with the hook and eye latch not long after we had come in. One of the boys in the room next door had burst in without knocking, and we did not want it to happen again. We were using this time to write in our journals. It was only 6 or so in the evening, and we had a while to wait until dinner. We were each sitting on our beds, talking about where we were going tomorrow, and excitedly talking about how we were going to Venice the day after that. I don't remember what made me lift my head, but I did. About half a second before the doors that led from the hallway to our room burst open. They slammed against the walls and rebounded. I remembered waiting for a gale of wind to rush past me. I could see there was no one at the door. My breath caught in my chest, and I looked at the girl on the bed next to me. I could only see her profile, but her eyes were wide. I counted 3 heartbeats before she spoke. "Get out." It wasn't a shout or a scream. It was a command. There was another few seconds. Then the doors that lead out onto the balcony burst outward. We all sat there a moment, unmoving. Then, the girl who had spoken started to make whimpering sounds. I rushed to close the door to the balcony, and my other roommate rushed to close the door to the rest of the convent. When both doors were locked, we all climbed on the same bed and held each other. We were all shaking. I didn't say anything, but I remember the other roommate asking over and over again, "What the hell was that?" At dinner that night, the other 2 girls went to every other member of the program and demanded to know if they had played a trick on them. Everyone looked confused. I don't know why we didn't think to ask the nuns, but we did talk to one of the group leaders. He just shrugged and said that sometimes weird things happened in old buildings. After dinner, we went to bed. In about a year's time, I would develop quite a bad insomnia, but at the time I could fall asleep almost anywhere. That night, I laid awake. We had agreed to leave the lights on. I listened to both of the other girls tossing and turning in their sleep. The one who had yelled, "Get out," woke up in a cold sweat around 1 in the morning. She ran to the leader's room and demanded to call her brother, who she thought was in trouble. Calling from Italy to the U.S. was complicated in 2004, so it took almost 30 minutes to get through to her mother. The mother confirmed that the brother was fine. I later learned that night, the brother had had a near-miss motorcycle accident. My other roommate woke up screaming from nightmares twice. I only slept in fits and starts until dawn. I'm one of those people who always dream, and I always remember my dreams, no matter how weird they are. I did not dream that night, or the next night when we stayed in the same convent. I wish I had gotten the name of the convent because I would love to look it up now, but I didn't, and I have not stayed in contact with anyone else who went on that trip. When I got home, I lost the journal I wrote in as well, in which I wrote about what happened. My mom was disappointed because she thought it would be a nice souvenir in years to come. I was secretly grateful.